Hello, this is Mark from I Am Organic Gardening, located in Zone 6B, and today is Wednesday, May 8th. So here I am back out in the wood chip garden, or back to Eden garden, that I started about 2.5 years ago. So I want to show you this overview of the back to Eden garden. Now you can see how much things have grown. Now I'll give you a comparison in just a little bit. I will play a video for you that I have taken about, let's say, about a month and a half ago, give or take. And you can see how much height has been developed, how quickly it's been growing, and certain weeds or perennials that are growing in here. All these strips are perennial roots that I have growing year after year to help grow the soil, to help grow that mycorrhizal fungi and keep it alive over the winter time, so I can plant right into these rows after I maintain them a little bit, or go back in here, remove a couple of seed heads. But I have perennials in there like comfrey, and I'll show you clover, garlic, strawberries. So let's take a little tour, and I'll just point everything out that's doing so well for me. So here in front of us right now, we have some beautiful mammoth red clover growing. I didn't plant this, I planted this about 2 years ago, and you can see how much is flourishing and coming back on its own. Now that tall green plant growing in the middle here is garlic. Again, I chose to plant garlic in a perennial because you can leave it in there. I will not divide it, it will just divide on its own. But again, it's a living root in the ground that will grow year after year. Now every so often we have some beautiful strawberry plants mixed in, and they're starting to bloom already. Now we have this beautiful comfrey plant here that's doing extremely well. That was just a tiny little cutting, about maybe, I'm going to say 1/100th of that plant that I put in the ground, and this is what happens after 2 years. Just amazing. Now this is alfalfa that I planted up 2 years ago. It's coming back nicely on its own. This alfalfa root will go down at least 4 feet easily, like the comfrey plant. This beautiful plant, which is called dock, I got for free by Mother Nature. It actually naturalized itself on its own. Now let's take a closer look here. You can see that the seed pods are forming, and I will come in here and break them off, or I might even cut the whole plant directly back to the ground and just have it regrow for me once again. Now I will get rid of those seed pods. I don't really want that much in here, but the leaves and other material I will just leave as mulch on top of the ground and just let it decay and feed the soil once again. This is a good example. Here we have our annual ryegrass that's coming back year after year, and this mound here, that's winter rye, and that gets stronger and stronger every year you leave it in the ground. And it's almost like growing an ornamental grass now. You can see that I'm just leaving it in one little spot here. Now this will grow. I won't cut this down. I'm going to let it grow up to about, say, 5 or 6 feet tall. And what I do like about that growing in height, when it turns to straw later on and keeping it up there, what I want to do is keep those, let's say, stalks up there as long as possible. What that's going to do for me later on is that's going to be a source where spiders can go up, build their webs, and when things are flying around the garden, catch those bad insects for me and keep my garden healthy. Some purple dead nettle that's flowering nicely. Again, got it free from nature. It is doing its job and had that root in the ground all winter long. Another enormous dock plant. What I'll do with this one is definitely take off the seed pods in a little bit here, break them off, and then I'll come back and trim everything right down to the ground and leave all that foliage there to die off and act as mulch. I will never dig into the soil. I will leave it as natural as it can be. I don't want to disturb it at all. If anything, I'll come in here and plant seeds directly into the ground, or I will do a transplant from a 4-inch pot, like some squash, or what I'll be planting in here is some butternut squash, some spaghetti squash, and zucchini and yellow squash. And all that diversity of all those plants I just showed you are within the, say, first 75 feet of this row here. And it just is growing soil for me, keep my plants alive. I'm not adding any fertilizer at all. And all those plants are talking to each other, are networking with each other, sharing nutrients and recycling nutrients. So when I add something into that, it can just take off right now and just be healthy, and I don't have to worry as watering as much as I would if I just had a basic soil that I went out there and planted directly into with no living cover on top. I just want to show you now because in another 2 weeks I'll come back and trim everything up, get it within reason of height off the ground, and I'll start planting all my types of squashes in here from my 4-inch pots, and I'll have a great harvest, hopefully, like I did last year. So thank you very much for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just trying to piece all the things together here as I progress along on my farm and back to Eden Gardens and food forest and leaf mold and every other trial I'm trying to do here. But things are working out very nicely, and I'm always glad to have you along for a tour of my farm. Thanks.